folks, how's it going? By now, everybody's aware of it. This is a late coming out because I wanted to take some time to read what I could about it. But by now, everybody's aware of the Chinese balloon that was tracked coming across the Pacific, across Alaska, through Canada, and down into Montana and across the United States. A lot of people are making a big deal about this, and I'm not going to say it's not a big deal. I think it's significant, but a lot of people are saying it's a spy balloon. They're spying on the United States. Some people are saying it could be carrying a biological weapon, which would be actually a really good platform to launch a biological weapon from. Some people are saying it could be carrying more conventional weapons or a nuclear weapon or something like that. I'm not going to speculate on all that. The fact that China says that it was purely a research balloon, like meteorological research that went off course, I don't buy that for a minute. I just saw the reports, though, that the U.S. finally did shoot down the balloon off the coast of Carolina. So they did finally shoot it down. Why they didn't shoot it down over Montana doesn't make much sense to me, because, you know, they were saying the reason they didn't shoot it down there was because of the potential destruction and damage that it would cause. But coming through Alaska, through Canada, and then into Montana and the Midwest, there's a lot of sparsely populated country out there. It doesn't seem to me that that would have made that much damage coming down there. It seems to me like it was an excuse they were holding off for potentially some other reason. Perhaps they thought that, oh, there's a hawk. Huh. Wonder if that's the same one I saw a while back. Anyway, perhaps it's because that if they shot it down over land, the impact would be harder on the equipment and cause more damage. This way, if it's shot down over water, it could potentially be less damaging, so that they could be in a position to recover more equipment and do a better analysis on it. There were even some people online speculating that the government, our government, the U.S. government itself, had back in 2019 announced that they were testing a lot of balloons with surveillance equipment, and that this could potentially be one of those. But it was tracked coming through Alaska, Canada, and into the United States. There were reports coming out, rumors of reports coming out of Canada that there had been a second incident in Canada. There was reports of one even being spotted down in Latin America. So, no, I don't buy for a minute that this was merely a meteorological balloon that got off course for whatever reason. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it was a surveillance device. Here's my thing on it, though, and I know some other people have probably come to the same conclusions. I don't think it was so much about surveillance. I mean, sure, that was probably one aspect of it, but I think the other aspect is it was more likely a test for the United States to see what our reaction would be, how we would respond to such a thing. You know, the Chinese are clearly readying for war. They've been doing that for a long time now. They've got out in deserts mock-ups of U.S. ships and U.S. cities that they are practicing military drills on. And they have got a lot of their manufacturing devoted to building up their military. So they've been preparing for war for a long time. because they know it's coming. Chinese play a long game. They're a very patient, strategic people. And they've been watching the way we respond with Afghanistan, with Russia and Ukraine. And I think this could potentially be a test of not just the United States, but other countries, how they would respond to aircraft violating airspace. That would account for it crossing into Canada, not just the United States, but also down in Latin America, and potentially a second one in Canada. They're saying that the jet stream is carrying it, but it does. Other reports I'm seeing from the government, not that I trust the government 100%, but other reports are saying that the tracking just didn't follow the jet stream like it should have, which stands to reason considering a lot of speculation about these balloons being somewhat controllable. Maybe not very, not a lot of direct control over it, but they could be controlled to some degree. But again, you know, it's just my thought is that this was primarily a test to see how the United States would respond to an unknown a violation of airspace by a potentially unknown or unidentified object, under the guise of it being, you know, an accidental stray, you know. And I don't buy that for a minute. I do believe this was intentional. Any surveillance from it would be just icing on the cake. But again, yeah, this has to be a test, just to, not only to see our reactions, but also show the world that, look, this is how they responded. They're not capable, the U.S. is not capable of protecting its own airspace. I mean, look how long it took for our government to bring it down. Whether it was accidental or an actual spy balloon or what have you, regardless of what it is and why it was there, it shouldn't have taken this long to bring it down. So it just shows how weak and incapable our government really is. That's just my thoughts on it. And the fact that you've got that other one in South America, you know, again, that could be either they're testing to see how other countries in general, not just the United States, react, or it could have been set up as a diversion so that, you know, that one down there would make it look like this was just an accident, help give it more cover. That's just my views on it. I'm not an expert, but I believe this was a test of our response, but also to show everybody that, look, we can violate their airspace, no problem, and there's not much that they can do about it. So, you know, a lot of people are making a big deal about this, and in a way it is a big deal, but I don't think I don't think it was done for a lot of the reasons a lot of people were talking about. When I first got up this morning, and I've been tracking this for a couple of days, or ever since the news came out about it, actually. But when I first got up this morning, I was seeing YouTube videos all over the place about China strikes first and it's begun, and you know, acting like this was the first step of an invasion. I don't think so. I think this was just filling us out, testing our response, and showing how weak and incapable our government really is. And in all honesty, this is an embarrassment to the United States that something like this was allowed to happen. That's just my views on it. Anyway, I just wanted to, a lot of people are talking about, there's a lot of chatter. There have been people talking about getting outside and trying to shoot at it with a rifle. I mean, use some common sense. The thing was 49,000 to 66,000 feet in the air. Nothing the civilian has would reach that. So, I mean, this just shows how stupid some people can be. I can't say for sure why the United States would wait so long to bring it down, unless actually there is one thing that I could see coming from that. It could be that they did this because they know eventually a war is coming with China, and they're trying to normalize China as being the bad guy. This has happened in the past, and there wasn't a huge deal made about it. But this one is all over the news, all over every news channel, all over prepper channels. And I think the reason for that, again, is they're trying to make a big deal out of it, to normalize it, to acclimate people to the idea of being in a conflict with China. You know, they can't just take us to war with a country without trying to build up the threat, you know. And that's not to say China's not a threat. They are definitely a threat to this country. But they have to really build up the threat to build up support for a war with China. And they know a war is coming. So they're going to start using incidents like this. You're going to see a lot of incidents like this, and with run-ins with ships and fighter jets right off of U.S. airspace. That's going to become a normal thing as they try to build up this support for a conflict with China. It's coming, folks. It's probably not coming for another year or two. I think most of the military advisors are saying they're expecting it to happen around 2025. So we're still a year or two out from it, but it is coming. And I think that's one reason why they made such a big deal about this balloon, and potentially even why they didn't shoot it down as soon as they did, or any sooner than they did. You know, they can drag it out and they can use it to stir up all this anti-China sentiment. I mean, not that that's going to take a lot to do with a lot of groups, but that's just my thoughts. Anyway, I got some stuff I got to get started on. I appreciate you guys watching. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Keep prepping, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your friends and your families. And until next time, folks, I'll catch you later.